let's move on then. And weather modification. We're sticking to the United States for a second. I'm sure many people have heard by now that legislation that the Florida Governor Ron DeSantis supported to crack down on suspected weather modification in Florida, including activity related to so-called chemtrails, is now cleared for his signature. And well, there's his tweet. I support the bill by Senator Ileana Garcia, USA, to ban geoengineering and weather modification. So this was resulted in a brief but a pretty heated discussion on the House floor, the Florida House floor. Eventually, the vote was 82 to 28 in favor, which makes unauthorized cloud seeding and other activities similar to that a third-degree felony, punishable by up to 5 years in prison and a significant fine of up to $100,000. Now, each individual infraction would count as a separate violation, and that would potentially lead to much longer and much higher penalties, either longer time in prison or bigger fines. And beginning on the 1st of October this year, anybody that's operating a publicly owned airport has to submit monthly reports to the Florida Department of Transport on any aircraft equipped to disperse substances with climate-altering capabilities. And that, as I say, includes cloud seeding. And any airport failing to do so would lose state funding. So that's quite a development. Florida becomes the second state in the United States to implement such a ban. Utah is the leading state. I don't know if you've got any thoughts on that.
Well, from a state-by-state basis, certainly this is going to have a different meaning, obviously, in the agricultural states and what they call the flyover states. Cloud seeding has been a long-running process in terms of making it rain during periods of drought and so forth. But it's also gone horribly wrong in places like California as well, as we've seen in recent years. So again, the United States is a big country, and each state has potentially a different agenda there. Certainly, there's a lot of people that are concerned with chemtrails, contrails, whatever, lines in the sky, whatever you want to call them. So is that going to have something to do with it? Certainly. I think the dimming the sun story that came out of the UK recently has also prompted some big discussions and backlash on this issue.
And that's what's needed, more discussion. So, Mark, let me welcome you to this. Now, the reports I saw said that Utah was the first state to ban geoengineering, but they clearly still continuing with cloud seeding.
Oh, absolutely. This is a complex issue. And the word you used there, Mike, was a very key word, unauthorized. And I'm doing an overview of this issue, kind of bearing down on it with the intent of talking to people very soon. I have one appointment for Monday that are in the cloud seeding business, and to talk to some local meteorologists and get this to be a more public discussion, because a lot of people, even though cloud seeding is open in plain sight, yet a lot of people don't realize much, if anything, about it in terms of its existence or the nature of it. Anyway, ironically, Utah, one of the two states you just named, its cloud seeding program, according to a very recent article by Kuer, is the envy of the drought-weary West. And that was published April 24, so very recently. And we'll move on with a little bit of description about this. Utah is home to the nation's largest cloud seeding program, the Crossroads Technologies Path Recording Report. States become a bound for cloud in the West. Get this. This article couldn't even go 2 paragraphs without saying this, with water managers, private sector investors, and conspiracy theorists, there they are, keeping a close eye on their progress. Advocates are saying the technology works. They just need to know to what degree. It's a practice involving millions of dollars in public funding, guys, countless snowflakes. They can also make it snow, not just rain. They're not talking about liberal snowflakes. And a string of death threats. Of course, that's the conspiracy theorists, allegedly. And the technology, this news outlet is saying, is strikingly uncomplicated, which is true. The same article refers to a Jared Smith. He lives near Ogden, Utah. And all this involves is a solar-charged battery, a tank of non-toxic silver iodide, that's the main cloud seeding substance, a tank of propane, some fuels, and he works for Salt Lake City-based North American Weather Consultants. And get this, they operate 200 of these setups across Utah. So to ban this in Utah altogether would be a difficult thing. And that's the
Right, Mark. Sorry,
I just
Mark. I'm sorry. I'm
mentioned.
going to have to interrupt there because this connection is extremely bad. Could you try rejoining the connection, please? And let's see if we can get this to work. We may have to we'll give Mark a second to come back. We may have to move on and.
Yes, apologies. I tried a different kind of hookup. It should be a lot better. Let me know. Anyway, I was talking about the North American Weather Consultants, and they've been at this for 70 years. Primarily in Utah, where we're hearing there might be some kind of alleged ban. And they say in their slogan, climate and weather experts, we make it rain, literally, as they pronounce. And we'll continue dissecting this issue to get to kind of a broader perspective on it. This is also from the NAWC, Environmentally Responsible Rainfall and Snowfall Augmentation. They began performing their cloud seeding in California in 1952, so it's not just Utah. Their operations have grown immensely, and now their programs through that outfit are California, Utah, and into Colorado. And they customize the programs, they say, according to farmers' needs, and there's a lot of regeneration of aquifers. And there's a bit of a correction on this one. I wanted to show this because a few episodes back of my reports, I said this was from a National Weather Modification Association website. Actually, this is from the Texas licensing body that licenses cloud seeding programs, the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation. And they list, just in Texas alone, harvesting the skies. Get the language. They harvest the skies, rain enhancement operations. There's the West Texas, South Texas, Panhandle, Trans-Pecos, and Rolling Plains weather modification associations or their groundwater conservation districts or things like that. So it's major here in Texas. And just to get an idea of the scale and timeframes on this, we'll continue to outline it. Just as a for instance, there's a National Weather Modification Association enabling persons, political entities, and other organizations to make informed decisions about the application of weather mod to provide for adequate water supplies, they're saying, and reduced natural weather hazards. So they're starting to talk more about wildfires, how they might mitigate against that, although it's not generally known by the public. This is a little more on the South Texas weather mod, the one that's closest to me. It's near San Antonio. They're in their 25th year. They work with the Edwards Aquifer Authority, and they've expanded to about 2.2 million acres to nearly 6 million acres in their target area, the second largest in Texas. So again, these are not small operations. Over in West Texas, it's in San Angelo. This project's in its 27th year. 6.4 million acres in West Central Texas is their target area. And so it's not like they're just crop dusters in limited areas. And these are a couple of others. The Panhandle Groundwater Conservation District covers 4.1 million acres, and the Trans-Pecos Weather Mod Association covers 5.1 million acres. Very, very large-scale operations. And this is a map worth showing. This is from California, the Santa Ana Watershed Project Authority. I've got a call into them. I'm hoping to talk to them next week, along with one Texas appointment that I do have. And on the map to the left, it shows where this is at in California, where they've had some wildfire activity. And the main map to the right there is a close-up. And these are the member agencies that make up that watershed. And the cloud seeding encompasses that entire area comprised of those member agencies. Again, to give you an idea of the scale and scope of these things. And lastly, this is a very important point. Meanwhile, we've had, wildfires, we've had reported water shortages, especially in California and in Australia a few years back. The water bottlers at Nestle that bottle water and the Coca-Cola bottlers that also use huge amounts of groundwater pretty much go on unabated, no matter what's going on. These news clips are a little bit old, but the issues haven't really changed. Lawmakers in the above headline opened the groundwater fight against bottled water companies. That's in Washington State, going back a few years. And the other headline is it talks about primarily in Michigan why Nestle pays next to nothing for hammering the aquifers to bottle water and sell it back to us. And that's a huge issue because much of the cloud seeding, at least a good part of it, is to regenerate the aquifers. But between fish farms, fish hatcheries, which are huge water users, water in, water out, not much recycling, and your water and your soft drink bottlers, the aquifers are getting hammered around the clock every day, 365, 24/7. So if there was a little bit more regulation of those that hammer those aquifers, you might not need as much cloud seeding to regenerate them. And of course, cloud seeding itself is a very off-the-shelf technology. There are many other kinds of geoengineering that are a little bit more illicit in their nature. The NOAA organization lists 9 or 10 of them that you'll be fined $10,000 for if you engage in those other 9 or 10 types of geoengineering that are not cloud seeding. So that's a tacit admission by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration that there are 10 or 11 different kinds of weather mod, not just cloud seeding. So cloud seeding might be seen as the most useful, if it's done right, among those different techniques to mitigate against wildfires before they happen, or maybe dampen them a bit after they start, although the conditions have to be right for cloud seeding and it has to be done correctly. So it's an issue that I'm trying to get to the bottom of, so realistic conversations and more general public knowledge can be realized, and then we can have a more intelligent discussion about the future of cloud seeding and then the broader issue of geoengineering, so more people know about these matters. That's the key. So for now, and I have something in extra that's very humorous, a humorous outtake on this issue that we'll show. So back to you guys.
Thanks, Mark. Okay, now, Patrick, let's come back